A poor barista surprised the millionaire CEO with her secret messages, and what he did next shocked everyone. Before we begin, leave a comment telling us which city you are watching from. And at the end, do not forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. The coffee cup landed on the glass table with a sharp sound that echoed through the conference room on the 32nd floor. Ethan Pierce did not even look up. His eyes moved between 3 screens at once, while his right hand searched for the cup blindly. 15 executives waited in silence for his next word. The Asian market had closed 20 minutes ago. He had 17 seconds to decide whether to invest $8 million or let the competition move ahead. His fingers found the hot cup. He brought it to his lips without taking his eyes off the spreadsheets, and then he froze. Not because of the coffee, because of what was written on the side of the cup, in red cursive handwriting, perfectly readable to everyone in the room. Double dose of humility, Mr. Efficiency. The silence changed in texture. Ethan felt 15 pairs of eyes move from the cup to his face. Someone choked trying to hold back a laugh. Rebecca from finance pretended to cough loudly. Marcus, the operations director, suddenly found the ceiling extremely fascinating. Ethan Pierce was not a man who hesitated. He had built a technology empire before turning 35, closed deals on 5 continents, gave interviews to Forbes without sweating. But at that moment, with a coffee cup mocking him in public, his jaw locked. "Mr. Pierce?" Priscilla's voice, his secretary, sounded small. "The decision about Tokyo?" He set the cup down with calculated care, gave a smile that did not reach his eyes. "Meeting postponed, 15 minutes." And he left. The elevator had never taken so long. Ethan pressed the lobby button 6 times, as if that would speed up the system. His mind was racing. Who had dared? Who in the entire company had the absolute audacity to write that on his coffee? The doors opened in the lobby. He crossed the Italian marble like a guided missile. Employees stepped aside instinctively. Some greeted him. He did not respond. His eyes had already found the target, the Pierce Tech Internal Cafe, strategically placed in the left corner of the building. There were 8 people in line. Ethan did not wait. He walked straight past the line, ignoring the angry protests, and stopped at the counter. And there she was. Brown hair tied in a casual ponytail. Green apron with the company logo that looked twice as big as her thin frame. Big brown eyes staring at him without blinking. Without fear, without that annoying reverence everyone else had. "May I help you?" she asked, raising one eyebrow in a way that clearly said, "You just cut the line, and I noticed." "Who wrote this?" Ethan placed the cup on the counter with enough force to make the remaining coffee splash. She looked at the cup, then at him, then back at the cup. "Oh." A tiny smile touched the corner of her mouth. "He did not like it?" "Did not like it?" Ethan's voice rose half a tone. Behind him, the entire line had stopped complaining to watch the show. "Do you have any idea who you are talking to?" "I do." She crossed her arms. "You are Mr. Efficiency." Someone in the line laughed, loudly. Ethan felt his neck grow warm. This had not happened since he could not even remember. No one challenged him like this. No one had the courage. No one was so completely— "What is your name?" he asked, forcing his voice to sound controlled. "It is on my badge." She pointed to the small plastic rectangle attached to the apron. Ethan looked. "Lena Morales. Barista. 2 years with the company. 2 years. 2 years this woman had worked in his building and he had never— Look." Lena sighed, as if he were a child insisting on arguing about bedtime. "You order a double espresso with no sugar, no milk, nothing that would make it even slightly pleasant. Every day. For 2 years. Always arriving 3 minutes before 8, always looking at your phone, never saying thank you. I make assumptions about people like that." "You assume?" Ethan could not believe what he was hearing. "I pay your salary." "Technically, HR pays my salary." She tilted her head back. "You just own the building, the shares, and apparently have a desperate need for caffeine with no pleasure involved." Which, ironically, is a perfect metaphor. Another laugh from the line. Louder this time. Ethan felt something strange happening. Something that had not happened in years. Someone was winning an argument with him. In public. And the worst part? She made it seem easy. "You find it amusing to embarrass your employer?" He tried to regain control. "Humiliate?" Lena picked up a clean cup and began preparing another coffee, as if this conversation was as routine as checking the milk supply. I would call it behavioral observation. I'm in my third year of organizational psychology. Corporate environments are my specialty, especially those run by people who think efficiency replaces humanity. She slid the new cup across the counter. Ethan looked down. Try smiling. It's free. His brain just stopped. Look, Mr. Pierce. Lena leaned on the counter, and for the first time, her voice lost a bit of the sarcastic armor. You want to fire me? Go ahead. I work in 3 places to pay for college. Losing this one will not destroy me. But before you do that, answer one question. When was the last time someone in this company told you the truth? Silence filled the cafe. Ethan opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Because the answer was clear, bright, and completely devastating, he didn't remember. Yeah, Lena nodded as if she had read his thoughts. I figured. She returned to the coffee machine, dismissing him. Simply dismissing him. As if he were just another annoying customer on a Tuesday morning. Next, she called. A woman in high heels and a gray suit approached nervously, looking between Lena and Ethan, as if she expected an explosion. Ethan was still standing there, frozen like a fool, holding a coffee cup with a motivational quote on it. Mr. Pierce? Priscilla's voice came from the phone on speaker. The Tokyo meeting is waiting. It has been 18 minutes. He didn't even remember coming downstairs. Lena handed the next customer her coffee with a warm and genuine smile she definitely had not given him. Have a wonderful day, Sarah, she said, and Ethan noticed she knew the woman's name. She probably knew everyone's name, except his. No. Wait, she did. She called him Mr. Pierce, but he didn't know hers. Until 30 seconds ago, she was just the coffee girl, the barista, the invisible person who made his drink. Ethan turned on his heels and walked back to the elevator. He said nothing else. But as the doors closed, he looked at the cup in his hand, and for the first time in years, he actually read what was written on it. Try smiling. It's free. A strange sound escaped his throat. It took 3 entire floors for him to realize he was laughing. Ethan Pierce was hiding behind a plant. Not just any plant. A ridiculously large ornamental palm in the lobby, strategically positioned with a perfect view of the cafe. At 7:45 in the morning. Wearing sunglasses. Inside his own building. If anyone from the board saw him like this, it would be a disaster. But he needed to understand. For the past 5 days, something bizarre had been happening. Pierce Tech employees were happy, smiling. Some even whistling in the hallways. Productivity had gone up 4%. In 1 week. And it all started after that coffee. Mr. Pierce? Marcus's voice sounded behind him. Why are you behind the palm tree? Ethan didn't turn around. I'm observing customer flow patterns. Behind a plant. Field analysis requires discretion, Marcus. Right? Marcus did not sound convinced at all. And the sunglasses inside the building are for fluorescent lights. Migraine. Don't you have work to do? Marcus laughed and walked away, muttering something about eccentric billionaires. Ethan adjusted the sunglasses and focused on the cafe. Lena was there, same relaxed posture, same green apron, but this time, he truly observed. Every customer who walked up received not only a coffee, but a personalized message, and they were not generic fortune cookie phrases. Sarah from accounting received, "Your spreadsheets are art, your boss just can't see it." She laughed so loudly that 3 people turned. Thomas from legal, "Contracts will not write themselves, but coffee helps." He walked out standing 2 inches taller. Rebecca, the CFO who had choked during the meeting, "Numbers lie, people don't. Trust your instinct today." She stopped, read it twice, and her eyes sparkled. Ethan felt something strange in his chest. Something like envy? No, impossible. He was a CEO. He did not get jealous of phrases on coffee cups. "She's amazing, isn't she?" a female voice said beside him. Ethan almost jumped. Priscilla was there too, also watching the cafe, holding 2 coffees. I'm not watching anyone," he stammered. "Of course not." Priscilla smiled. "That's why you ordered coffee for your office every day this week and asked me to personally get it from the cafe?" "Great," she noticed. "Employees are creating a group called Coffee Philosophy," Priscilla continued. "They're sharing the quotes they receive. Some people come down 3 times a day just to see what she's going to write." "That is," Ethan searched for the right word, "unproductive." "Is it?" Employee satisfaction went up 22%. HR has never seen anything like it. Priscilla held out one of the coffees to him. Ethan took it, turned it to read. Great leaders ask great questions. Start with, why? He looked at Priscilla. She doesn't even know this one is for me. She knows, Priscilla winked. She always knows. And she left, leaving Ethan alone with his cup and his growing confusion. On Thursday at 3 in the afternoon, Ethan found Marcus, Rebecca, and Thomas sitting in the break room on the 22nd floor, comparing empty coffee cups like Pokemon cards. Mine today was unbelievable, Thomas said, holding his cup like a trophy. Justice is not in a hurry, but you have a deadline. She knows I'm dealing with that complex case. Please, Rebecca rolled her eyes. Today she wrote me, money is a tool, not a goal. Use it wisely. I was literally reviewing the quarterly budget when I read it. I almost cried. Amateurs. Marcus placed his cup on the table with dramatic flair. Efficient operations save companies. Human operations save people. The three of them sighed in reverent unison. Ethan walked past them as if he had not heard any of it, but his mind was on fire. How did she know? How on earth did Lena Morales, Barista, third-year psychology student, manage to say exactly what each person needed to hear on the exact day they needed it? Was it luck? Was it observation? Was it magic? He shook his head. No. There had to be a logical explanation. On Friday, he went down himself to get coffee. No disguises, no sunglasses, just him. The line had 16 people. He waited. When it was finally his turn, Lena looked at him with that same raised eyebrow. Well, Mr. Efficiency learned how to wait in line. I can learn things, Ethan replied, more defensive than he meant to sound. She began to prepare the coffee without asking. She already knew what he wanted. And what exactly are you learning these days? That you have a talent. He chose his words carefully. For understanding people. It's not a talent, Lena said, pouring the espresso. It's attention. I pay attention. Something most people forgot how to do. What do you mean? She stopped and really looked at him. Sarah from accounting wears her mother's necklace every day. Thomas from legal always reviews contracts on Wednesdays because his wife has yoga class and he's home alone. Rebecca bites her nails when she's nervous, and for the last 2 weeks she's been biting them to the limit. Ethan blinked. How do you? I observe. Lena slid the cup across the counter. And it's not because I'm a genius. It's because I look at people, truly, not through them. She let the last part hang in the air, full of meaning. Ethan picked up the cup slowly. He read the quote. You have power, but do you have empathy? He swallowed hard. Do you do this on purpose? He asked in a lower voice. To challenge me? It's not a challenge. Lena wiped the counter, avoiding his eyes for the first time. It's a reminder. A reminder of what? She stopped. Her hands stilled over the cloth. When she spoke, her voice carried a hint of something he couldn't identify. Hurt? Tiredness? That I've worked here for 2 years, Mr. Pierce. 2 years making your coffee every day. And you learned my name 5 days ago. The emotional hit was so strong it made Ethan step back slightly. He began, but he had no defense. None. Next, Lena called, already turning back to the machine, already dismissing him again. Ethan stood there 3 more seconds, holding a cup that suddenly felt very heavy. Then he left. In the elevator, alone, he reread the quote, You have power, but do you have empathy? And for the first time in his life, Ethan Pierce, millionaire CEO, Stanford graduate, Fortune 500 cover, was not sure of the answer. His phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. Boss, I just got answers come when we stop pretending we know everything. Is this woman a witch or a psychologist? Ethan typed back, both, apparently. And then, doing something completely out of character, he added, and maybe the smartest person in this building. He hit send before he could change his mind. The elevator doors opened on the 32nd floor. Ethan looked at the cup one last time before entering his office, and he realized, with a mix of fear and fascination, that Lena Morales had done in 1 week what no million-dollar consultant had ever achieved in years. She had made everyone at Pierce Tech feel seen, including him, especially him. And now he needed to understand why. The Pierce Tech internal app froze 3 times on Monday morning. Not because of a hacker attack, not because of a system failure, but because 243 employees tried to post on the Coffee Philosophy channel at the same time at 8:02 a.m. The IT department had to increase the server capacity because of quotes on coffee cups. Ethan was in his office, watching the digital chaos unfold on his computer screen when Priscilla walked in without knocking. "Well, sir, we need to talk about the barista." "Not now, Priscilla." "HR received 17 transfer requests this morning," she continued, as if he had not spoken, all of them wanting to work closer to the lobby cafe. Ethan turned in his chair. "What?" "And marketing is asking for permission to use her quotes in an internal engagement campaign. And someone created a meme of her that already has 480 likes. And, wait," Ethan raised his hand. "A meme?" Priscilla turned the tablet toward him. It was a photo of Lena at the counter, arms crossed, eyebrow raised, with the text, "When your therapist costs $3.50 and comes with caffeine." Ethan could not hold it. He laughed, out loud. Priscilla widened her eyes as if he had just spoken Mandarin. "Mr. Pierce, did you just laugh?" "No," he cleared his throat, regaining composure. "It was a spasm. Reflex. Dust. There is no dust here. You pay $4,000 a month for cleaning. Priscilla? Right. She smiled in a way he did not like at all. "So what do we do about the Lena situation?" Ethan tapped his fingers on the desk. His CEO brain was doing what it did best, turning chaos into opportunity. "Schedule a meeting with her." "With the barista?" "With the organizational psychology student who accidentally created the biggest corporate wellness initiative this company has ever seen," he corrected. "Yes, with her." Lena did not believe it when she received the email. She read it 3 times, checked if it was spam, seriously considered the possibility she was having a caffeine-induced hallucination. Subject, meeting, Mr. Pierce, conference room B, 2 p.m. She showed the phone to Jamie, the other barista. "Is this a firing or a promotion?" she asked. "With you?" "It could be anything," Jamie laughed. "You could be fired and hired at the same time just by the power of sarcasm." At 2 in the afternoon, Lena went up 22 floors using the service elevator because she did not have the courage to take the executive one. She was wearing the same green apron. She had not changed clothes. That was on purpose. If she was going to be fired, she would be herself. Conference room B was all glass, overlooking the city. Ethan was already there. No jacket, sleeves rolled up. He looked younger that way, more human. "Miss Morales," he stood up. "Thank you for coming." It did not feel optional. Lena walked in, leaving the door open on purpose. "It was not," he admitted with a small smile. "Please have a seat." She sat on the edge of the chair like someone ready to run. Ethan slid an iPad across the glass table. "Do you recognize this?" It was the internal channel. Coffee philosophy. Pages and pages of posts, comments, memes, discussions. Lena swallowed. "I did not ask for this to go viral." "I know," Ethan sat down, "but it did, and now we have a problem." "Here it comes," Lena thought. "The firing." "Productivity went up 6%, Ethan continued. "Employee satisfaction 22%. Voluntary overtime requests doubled. Complaints to HR dropped by half." Lena blinked. That sounds good?" "It is excellent." Ethan leaned forward. "And I want to make it official." "Make what official?" "You," he said simply. "I want to hire you to create an internal motivational campaign, quotes, content, whatever you think is best. Applied organizational psychology. You are still studying that, right?" Lena could only look at him. You want to hire me? To write quotes?" "To apply behavioral psychology in the corporate environment using a non-traditional method of message delivery," he corrected. Very formally. "You just used 5 big words to say write quotes on cups." Lena could not hold back. Ethan tried to look serious. He failed completely. The corner of his mouth betrayed him. "Maybe." "And how much would you pay for that?" Lena crossed her arms. $15 an hour, 10 hours a week, separate from your regular job. 20, 18, 20, Lena repeated, looking straight into his eyes. "And I choose the quotes. No corporate censorship." The tension in the room changed. It was no longer a business meeting. It was something else. Ethan held her gaze 3 seconds longer than professionally appropriate. "Deal." He extended his hand. Lena shook it. His hand was warm, firm, and he did not let go immediately. "May I ask you something?" he said, still holding her hand. "You are already asking. Why do you do this? The quotes, all this attention to people you barely know." Lena gently pulled her hand away. "Because everyone in this building wakes up at 5:30, sits in traffic for an hour, works until 6, and goes back home exhausted, and no one ever says, 'You matter. You are seen. You make a difference.'" She paused. "So I say it. in my own way. The silence that followed was heavy. Ethan looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. "You are," he began, then stopped, searching for words. "Thoughtful?" Lena offered. "I was going to say extraordinary." Lena's heart jumped, stopped, then gave another strong beat. No, absolutely not. He was the boss, she was the employee. This could not, should not. I need to go back. She stood up too fast, almost knocking over the chair. Jamie is alone at the counter. Of course. Ethan stood too. And there was something in his expression that seemed disappointed. Priscilla will send the contract details. Lena was already at the door when he spoke again. Lena, she stopped, did not turn around. "Thank you," he said, his voice softer. "Truly, for what you are doing for all of us." She glanced over her shoulder. "No need to thank me, Mr. Pierce." And then, because she could not resist, "You just need another cup of therapy." He laughed. That same genuine laugh she had managed to pull from him before. "I think so," he admitted. "I think so." Lena escaped before she did something foolish, like smile back, or worse, enjoy that laugh more than she should. In the elevator, alone, she leaned her head against the cold mirror and whispered to her own reflection. "Do not fall for the boss, Lena. For heaven's sake, do not fall for the boss." But as the doors opened to the lobby, one single and terrible certainty took over her. It was too late for warnings. Clara Reynolds walked into the office at 9:15 on Wednesday morning with Prada luggage, a perfect Bahamas tan, and an unfailing radar for change. And something had changed. People were smiling in the hallway before 10 a.m. without the threat of being fired. "Priscilla." Clara stopped in front of the secretary's desk. "What did I miss?" "Clara, welcome back." Priscilla smiled with a concerning level of enthusiasm. "How were the islands?" "Boring without email." "Now tell me, why does this place look like a toothpaste commercial?" Priscilla hesitated. Clara knew that hesitation well. It was the hesitation of, "You will not like this." "It is the barista," Priscilla finally said. "The barista?" Clara repeated, as if the word were in Swahili. "Lena, from the cafe. She's doing something with motivational quotes and kind of transformed the entire office." Clara blinked 3 times. "A barista transformed Pierce Tech?" "Yes, I know how it sounds, but..." Clara was already marching toward Ethan's office, Louboutin heels creating a threatening soundtrack on the marble floor. She did not knock. Ethan was by the window, holding a cup of coffee, looking at the city with an expression Clara knew very well, because she used to cause that expression. Reflection, interest, possibility. "Ethan," she said. Closing the door behind her, he turned, and for a tiny, microscopic second, Clara saw something that hit her like a punch. Disappointment. He had been expecting someone else. "Clara." Ethan placed the cup on the desk too quickly, too guilty. "You are back. Clearly I should have stayed longer." She crossed her arms. "What happened here?" "Work. As always. You are different. I am the same." "You were smiling, Ethan. I saw you smiling at Marcus in the hallway." "I smile." "You do not smile. You do that thing with your mouth that technically counts as a smile but feels more like a polite warning." Ethan sighed. "Point for Clara." "It is temporary," he said. "A wellness initiative. It will pass." Clara walked to his desk and picked up the cup he had put down so quickly. "Hard decisions build strong leaders. You are already both." She read it aloud, each word sharper than the last. "This is..." She searched for the right term. "Cheap airport psychology?" "It is effective," Ethan replied, far too defensive. "Oh." Clara knew that tone. It was the tone of, "I will defend this because it matters to me." "Who writes this?" she asked, already knowing the answer but needing to hear it. "The barista at the cafe, Lena. She's doing a project." "The barista," Clara repeated for the second time in 10 minutes. "You hired a barista to do the work of my department? It is not your department, it is marketing, and it has nothing to do..." "It has everything to do with it." Clara set the cup back down firmly. "Corporate wellness is internal branding. It is my area." "Clara, I am away for 3 weeks and you outsource my role to someone who serves coffee? It is not about you." The silence that followed was explosive. Ethan took a deep breath, composing himself. Returning to the controlled CEO Clara knew. "I am sorry," he said coldly. "That was inappropriate. Your department was not replaced. Lena is doing a pilot project. Small, nothing official." But Clara had already seen enough. There was something there, something beyond messages on cups. "All right," she forced a smile. Then I will meet this Lena. Professional evaluation, to make sure the company's standards are being maintained. That is not necessary. I insist. Clara was already at the door. After all, I am the vice president of marketing. My responsibility. Lena was cleaning the espresso machine when she felt it. That sensation of being watched, of being evaluated, measured. She looked up. A woman was on the other side of the counter. White blazer, immaculate, blonde hair in professional waves, makeup that likely cost more than Lena's rent, and a smile that did not reach her eyes. You must be Lena, the woman said. It was not a question. May I help you? Lena replied, survival instinct activated. Clara Reynolds, vice president of marketing. She extended her hand as if granting an audience. Lena shook it. Clara's hand was cold. Oh, Lena said, because O was safe. I heard about your project. Clara glanced around the cafe like she was inspecting something slightly unpleasant. Creative, using coffee merchandise for internal communication. Never saw that at Harvard. I study at the University of California, Lena said. Maybe the methods are different. Clearly. Clara smiled more. Worse. How long have you worked here? 2 years. And in 2 weeks you achieved what our HR department has been trying to do for months. She tilted her head. Impressive. Almost too convenient. Lena felt her blood run cold. Convenient? Perfect timing. Unorthodox methods, direct access to the CEO. Clara listed on her fingers, nails perfectly manicured. A cynical person could think it is calculated. A cynical person, Lena repeated slowly. But not you, of course. Of course not. Clara laughed, clear and false. I am only protecting the company's interests. And Ethan's. We have history. Ah, so that was it. History, Lena said. As in cancelled engagement 8 months ago history? Clara's expression froze for half a second. Employees gossip, Lena continued, calmly wiping the counter on purpose. I hear things, part of paying attention. How convenient, Clara replied, pure venom, hearing things, about people, and using it to your advantage. I do not use anything to anyone's advantage. I only help. Of course. Clara turned to leave, then stopped. A piece of advice, Lena, woman to woman. Men like Ethan Pierce are projects, not relationships. They seem broken, it seems like you can fix them, but in the end, you are just another temporary tool. And she left, leaving behind a trail of expensive perfume and a veiled threat. Lena stood behind the counter, heart racing. Jamie appeared from the kitchen. Wow, who was that? She looked like the villain from a Reese Witherspoon movie. Worse, Lena whispered. She is the ex-fiancée. Oh no. Jamie made a face. The dangerous kind. Lena nodded, still looking at the spot where Clara had walked out. For the first time since she began writing messages on cups, she felt something she had not felt in years. Fear of losing something she did not even know she wanted. And the worst part? Clara knew exactly what she was doing. She was planting doubt. And that doubt was already growing. Conference Room C on the 28th floor had glass walls and acoustics that theoretically blocked sound. Theoretically. Lena discovered that theoretically was an interesting word when she was delivering 3 cappuccinos to the reception area on the 28th floor and heard, clear as crystal, Clara Reynolds' voice coming through that soundproof glass. I am not saying she has bad intentions. I am saying she is calculated. Lena froze 3 meters from the door. 8 executives were sitting around the table, including Ethan, including Marcus, including Rebecca. And Clara was standing, presentation on the screen behind her, gesturing with a laser pointer like a prosecutor in court. Look at the facts, Clara continued, clicking to the next slide. Lena Morales has worked here for 2 years. Invisible. Quiet. Suddenly, 3 weeks ago, she begins direct contact with the CEO through an unconventional method. Lena should leave. She should run. But her feet were glued to the floor. Clara, what are you trying to say with this? Marcus asked, tired. Unregulated psychological influence, Clara said as if it were obvious. She is using basic emotional validation principles to create emotional dependence in key employees. It is manipulation disguised as kindness. Rebecca frowned. You are calling motivation manipulation? I am calling cheap psychology a corporate risk, Clara replied. She has no credentials, no supervisor. She is applying behavioral theory to executives with no oversight at all. And you think that is appropriate? Silence. Lena felt the floor disappear beneath her feet. Ethan had not spoken yet. He was looking at the table, jaw tight, fingers tapping. Ethan. Clara turned to him, her voice softening. intimate. Do you trust her? He finally looked up. I trust the results. Results can be manufactured, Clara insisted. Short-term loyalty induced by emotional validation is not sustainable. It is a cult tactic, not a business strategy. You just compared motivational coffee to a cult? Marcus let out an incredulous laugh. I am comparing unregulated emotional dependence to legal risk, Clara countered. An employee files a lawsuit claiming psychological manipulation, and we are responsible. Not her. She only loses a barista job. We lose millions. And then, as if the universe had cruel comedic timing, Rebecca looked at the door and saw Lena. Her eyes widened. Lena did not wait. She turned and ran. She did not walk fast. She did not leave quietly. She ran as if the building were on fire, coffee spilling from the cup still in her hands, rushing through the hallway, stairs, anything that was not that slow elevator. Behind her, she heard the meeting room door open. Lena, Ethan's voice echoed. She did not stop. She went down 6 flights of stairs before she had to stop to breathe. She leaned against the cold wall, coffee cup still in her hands, shaking. Cheap psychology. Manipulation. Corporate risk. Clara's words echoed like a sentence. And the worst part? Ethan did not defend her. Not immediately. Not in the moment. He said, I trust the results. Not I trust her. Results. As if she were a spreadsheet, a chart, an investment. Lena went down the remaining stairs on autopilot. When she reached the cafe, Jamie looked at her and immediately dropped everything. What happened? I need to. Lena set the cups on the counter with shaking hands. I need to do something. She grabbed a red marker and a clean cup. She wrote in firm handwriting, without hesitating, please serve ice for the wounded ego. She placed the cup right in the center of the counter, where everyone would see it. Then she removed her green badge from the apron and set it beside the cup. Lena, no, Jamie whispered. Don't do this. I already did, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. Tell HR I quit. Effective immediately. Because of the blonde psychopath? Because of me, Lena corrected, taking off the apron. Because I was foolish enough to think that phrases on cups were enough to matter in that world. She did not cry. She would not give them that satisfaction. But as she turned to exit through the employee's back door, she heard it. The executive elevator opening in the lobby. Fast footsteps. Lena, wait. It was Ethan. Without a blazer, tie crooked, completely undone. She did not turn. Please, he said, and there was something in his voice that almost made her stop. Almost. Let me explain. Lena stopped at the door, her back to him. You did not defend me, she said simply. In the room, when she called me a manipulator, when she said I was a corporate risk, you did not say anything. I was going to. I was processing, trying to form. You were calculating. Lena turned, and for the first time she let him see it. The hurt, the disappointment, weighing costs and benefits, analyzing risk as if I were an investment. That is not it. It is exactly it. She walked closer, and he stepped back, surprised. Clara was right about one thing. Men like you turn people into projects, into problems to solve, into data to analyze. And I am not that. I am human. And humans get hurt. Lena, do you know what the irony is? She laughed without humor. I wrote those phrases because I wanted people to feel seen, valued, and the only person I truly wanted to see me never did. I see you, Ethan said, desperate. I see you since that first cup. You see a smart barista, Lena interrupted, a useful employee, an interesting project, but you do not see me as an equal, as someone whose opinion matters just as much as the ex-fiancé vice president in the glass room. The truth of that hit Ethan like a slap. Lena saw it on his face. The moment he realized she was right. I am sorry, he whispered. So am I, Lena said, and she meant it. She walked out the back door without looking back. Ethan stood in the middle of the lobby, employees looking, whispering, probably taking photos. He walked to the coffee counter like a zombie. The cup was still there, the badge beside it. Please serve ice for the injured ego. He picked up the badge. Lena Morales, barista. 2 years at the company. He was going to keep it. He did not know why. He only knew he had just lost something he did not even know was possible to lose. And the worst part? She was right about everything. 3 days without Lena and Pierce Tech seemed to have gone back in time. Not to a better era. To a gray, silent, and deeply depressing one. Ethan noticed it first through the coffee, or the lack of it. At 7:57 on Monday morning, he went down to the lobby on autopilot, turned left toward the coffee shop, and stopped. There were 2 people in line. 2. On a Monday, at 8 in the morning. Jamie was alone behind the counter, looking like an abandoned dog in the rain. "Mr. Pierce," Jamie said when Ethan approached, his voice lifeless. "The usual?" "Please." Jamie prepared the coffee in robotic silence, placed it in the machine, waited, handed it over. The cup was white, plain, not a single word on it. Ethan stared at that empty space as if it were a personal insult. "You are not going to write anything?" he asked. Jamie looked at him as if he had suggested skydiving without a parachute. "Man, I am a barista, not a therapist. Lena was the magic." He paused. "Yes, Lena is the magic, but she is not here." The guilt hit Ethan like a punch to the stomach. He took the white, empty, sad cup and went back upstairs. On the 32nd floor, the marketing team was in their morning meeting. Ethan passed by the glass room and stopped. Sarah from accounting was holding a cup with something written in faded blue pen. "What is that?" Marcus asked, pointing. "I tried to write a motivational phrase," Sarah admitted, blushing, like Lena's. "What did you write?" Sarah turned the cup. "You can do it. Stay strong. Yay." Awkward silence. "Sarah," Rebecca said gently, "this sounds like a first-time mother trying to cheer up a 5-year-old. "I know." Sarah threw her hands up. "But the coffee without anything looked so empty. I needed something." Thomas raised his cup. "Contracts are cool. Keep reading." Marcus covered his face with his hands. "Thomas, that does not make any sense." "I panicked." Thomas defended himself. "Try to write a clever legal phrase at 7 in the morning." "And yours, Marcus?" Rebecca asked, smiling in a dangerous way. Marcus reluctantly showed his cup. "Operations are good?" The room burst into hysterical laughter. "You added a question mark?" Thomas laughed. "You are not even sure if operations are good." "Lena made it look easy," Marcus complained. "How did she know exactly what to say?" "Because she paid attention," Rebecca said, her smile fading. "She truly saw us." The silence that followed was heavy. Ethan kept walking before they noticed him listening. On Wednesday, the productivity report came in. Priscilla walked into his office with a funeral expression. "Mr. Pierce, you need to see this." Ethan took the tablet. Productivity made it 8%. Satisfaction, 19%. Voluntary overtime requests, minus 47%. HR complaints, plus 34%. In 3 days. "How is this possible?" Ethan asked, even though he knew exactly how. "People are sad," Priscilla said simply. "The Coffee Philosophy channel is full of posts asking for Lena to return. Some created a petition." "A petition?" 283 signatures, Priscilla confirmed, including 2 vice presidents and the head of IT. Ethan rubbed his face. "And Clara?" "Clara is," Priscilla chose her words, satisfied with the result of protecting the company's interests. Something inside Ethan snapped. "Schedule a meeting," he said. "Now. All directors. Main conference room." "Sir?" "Now, Priscilla." 15 minutes later, 8 executives were seated around the mahogany table on the 32nd floor. Clara entered last, confident smile expecting praise. Ethan did not let her sit. "Would someone like to explain," he began, his voice dangerously calm, "how in 72 hours we became the most miserable company in San Francisco again?" "Ethan, these fluctuations are normal," Clara tried. 8%, Ethan cut in, hitting his hand on the table. Everyone jumped. 8% drop in productivity. Because of what? "Oh yes, because we let go of the only person in this building who managed to make people care." "She was not fired," Clara began. "She resigned after being publicly humiliated." Ethan replied, "After you implied she was manipulative, a fraud, a corporate risk. I was protecting the company." "You were protecting your ego," Ethan exploded. No one had ever seen him like this. Completely out of control. "Because a barista, in 3 weeks, did more for this company's culture than your entire department did in 2 years. The silence was overwhelming. "Ethan," Clara whispered, pale. "Do you know what the funniest part is?" he continued, laughing without humor. "Lena did all of that for free. Out of kindness. Because she cared. And we destroyed it. I destroyed it." Marcus cleared his throat. "Mr. Pierce, are you all right?" "No," Ethan admitted, collapsing into his chair. "I am not." For the first time since he founded the company, Ethan Pierce looked lost. "Meeting canceled," he said, his voice hoarse. "Everyone out." They left in silence. Even Clara left without arguing. Ethan stayed alone in the huge room, looking out the window at the city. His phone was on the table. He had typed the message 17 times, deleted it 17 times. Lena, I am sorry. Please come back. I was wrong. Too generic. You were right about everything. I am an idiot. Can we talk? Too casual. I miss you. Too true. He deleted it again. He put the phone in his pocket. He picked up the only personal object on the table, Lena's green badge. He still carried it like a pathetic good luck charm. Priscilla walked back in without knocking. Mr. Pierce? What is it, Priscilla? You need to see this. She showed her phone. The internal channel. Someone had posted a photo of the last cup Lena wrote on. Please serve ice to a wounded ego. And below it Marcus had commented, she gave us self-esteem, purpose, humanity, and we let her go. This company did not deserve Lena Morales. 342 likes. Ethan closed his eyes, and for one terrifying moment, he completely agreed. Ethan Pierce was trying to make coffee at 2 a.m. on Friday and failing spectacularly. The espresso machine in his private kitchen had cost $12,000. It had more buttons than the control panel of a Boeing 747, and it was making a sound it definitely should not be making. Come on, he murmured to the machine, as if that would help. Double espresso. No sugar. Just like Lena made it. It cannot be that hard. The machine responded by spraying coffee everywhere except inside the cup. Perfect, Ethan said to the empty kitchen. Excellent. Amazing. He gave up and drank straight from the coffee pot. It tasted terrible, bitter, burnt. Nothing like the coffee Lena made. Nothing like Lena. He was cleaning the mess when his phone buzzed. Email from HR. Subject: response to your request. Employee file. Lena Morales. Ethan clicked so fast he almost dropped the phone. He had requested her full file. He wanted to understand. He needed to understand. The document opened. Name: Lena Sophia Morales. Position: Barista. Level 2. Education: University of California, Berkeley. Master's in Organizational Psychology. In progress. Ethan stopped. Read it again. Master's. Not undergraduate. Master's. She was in a master's program, and he had assumed it was undergraduate. Because he never asked, never checked, never cared enough to know. He scrolled further. Thesis title: Empathy as an Engagement Tool, Practical Applications of Emotional Validation in High-Pressure Corporate Environments. Ethan read it 3 times. She had not done any of that by accident. It was not luck. It was not natural talent. It was research. Lena was literally conducting an academic study on how to make people feel seen in companies like his. And he let Clara destroy it, call it cheap psychology, manipulation. When in reality it was genius, Ethan whispered to the phone. She is a genius. He did not wait for sunrise. At 3:27 a.m., Ethan was dressed in the car, driving to the address listed in Lena's file. Small apartment in Mission District, 3rd floor. No elevator. He ran up the stairs 3 steps at a time, stopped in front of door 3C, took a deep breath, knocked. Nothing. Knocked again. The door next to it opened. An older woman in a robe and hair rollers. If you are looking for Lena, she is not here, the woman said. She works 3 jobs, sleeps 4 hours a night. She is rarely home. Ethan felt something break inside his chest. Do you know where she might be? Probably at the Berkeley Library. The woman narrowed her eyes. Are you her boss? Yes. You are the one who made her cry? Ethan did not have any answer other than yes. Then leave, the woman said, about to close the door. Please. Ethan put his hand on the door. I need to speak with her. I made a mistake. I know I did. But I need to fix this. The woman studied him for a long moment. The library closes at 6 a.m. for cleaning. She leaves around 5:30. She finally said, If I were you, I would be waiting outside. Thank you. Ethan said sincerely. And Mr. Heartless, boss? Yes. If you hurt that girl again, I know people. She made a threatening gesture with her hand. People who do things. Ethan believed her completely. At 5:15 in the morning, Ethan was waiting in front of the Doe Memorial Library when his phone rang. Clara. He considered not answering, but something about the time of the call made him pick up. Ethan. Clara sounded urgent. Where are you? Why are you awake at 5 in the morning? Because I found something you need to know about Lena. Ethan's stomach dropped. What did you do, Clara? I saved you from making a huge mistake, she said. You need to come back to the office. Now, I have proof. Proof of what? That she was using you, Clara said, voice full of false concern. Her thesis, Ethan. Her research. She was collecting data. You were the experiment. Ethan froze. What are you talking about? I accessed the university system. She submitted a request for ethical approval to conduct behavioral research using Pierce Tech employees as subjects. She was not helping. She was studying. You, Marcus, Rebecca, everyone, you were test subjects. That does not make sense. It makes perfect sense, Clara insisted. She needed real data for her thesis, and she used her access to employees to collect it. It is unethical, Ethan. Probably illegal. You are lying. I am sending the documents now, Clara said. Look for yourself. His phone vibrated. PDF attached. Ethan opened it with trembling hands. It was an ethical approval form from the university, with Lena's name, with the thesis title, and a checked box, data collection in the researcher's workplace. Yes. Below in red letters, participant consent, pending. Ethan felt the world spin. She did not ask for consent, Clara said, voice soft and poisonous. No one knew they were being studied. It is manipulation, Ethan. I tried to warn you. He wanted not to believe it, wanted to say Clara was lying, twisting, fabricating. But the document was there, with Lena's name, with her signature. Ethan, Clara pressed, do you still want to go see her? He looked at the library, at the doors that would open in 15 minutes, where Lena would walk out, not knowing he had discovered this. He began. And then he saw it. At the bottom corner of the document. Small, almost invisible. Submission date 3/3/15/2024. 3 months before Lena wrote the first quote on his cup, which meant, Clara, Ethan said slowly, when exactly did you access the university system? Silence on the other end. Does that matter? It matters because this document is from March, and Lena only started the project in June. Ethan felt his anger rising, which means this is a preliminary approval request, standard procedure. It proves nothing. Ethan, did you falsify this? He asked, his voice dangerously low. Or did you just twist it to look worse than it is? I was protecting you. You were lying, Ethan shouted. People on the street turned to look. Again. He hung up. And then he realized with devastating clarity, Clara was willing to destroy Lena completely, and he had almost believed her. Lena walked out of the Doe Memorial Library at 5:36 a.m. and found Ethan Pierce sitting on the marble steps, wearing the same jeans and wrinkled shirt, dark circles under his eyes, holding 2 Starbucks coffees that were already cold. She stopped 3 feet away. What are you doing here? Waiting for you. Ethan stood, almost dropping the coffees. For 40 minutes. How did you know I was here? Your neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, she told me, after implying something very unpleasant if I hurt you again. Despite everything, Lena almost smiled. She's protective. She should be. Ethan took a step forward. Lena stepped back. He stopped. Lena, I need to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. Clara lied. I know. Ethan blinked. You know? Of course I know. Lena adjusted her backpack on her shoulder. I submitted all the ethical consent forms. I have copies, I have emails, I have university approval and signatures from all participants, including yours. Then why did you not say anything? Why did you let her accuse you? Because it does not matter, Lena said, tired. Clara can lie. I can prove she lied. But in the end, you believed her first. You hesitated when she attacked me in the meeting. And that tells me everything I need to know. I did not believe her. You answered her call at 5 in the morning, Lena countered. I know because she called me right after to brag about it. You answered, you listened, you considered it. Ethan had no defense for that. For 2 seconds, he admitted, his voice unsteady. For 2 stupid seconds, I let doubt in. And I am sorry. I am sorry, Lena. So am I, she said. But apologies do not change the fact that I cannot work in a place where I have to prove my worth every time someone decides they do not like me. Then do not work there, Ethan said quickly. Work somewhere else. Berkeley is looking for researchers. I know the dean. I can make a call. No, Lena cut him off. I do not want your connections. I do not want your help. I do not want anything that makes me feel like I owe you something. You do not owe me anything. I owe you. Exactly, Lena burst out. And I do not want that. I do not want to be the person you need to save to ease your guilt. The silence that followed was heavy. Students were starting to arrive for morning classes. They looked curiously at the two of them. I received an offer, Lena finally said, calmer. Stanford, full PhD scholarship. It starts in January. Ethan felt something break inside him. That is incredible. It is, she agreed. It is everything I always wanted. Then why do you look sad? Lena looked at him, and for the first time since she left, she let him see it. The hurt, the tiredness, the disappointment. "Because I wanted you to fight for me," she whispered. "When Clara attacked me, when she planted doubts, I wanted you to defend me immediately, without hesitating, without calculating, just believing in me. I do believe in you. Now you do, after the proof, after the documents." Lena shook her head. "But I wanted you to believe before, without needing evidence, just because it was me." Ethan had no answer for that, because she was right. "I need to go," Lena said, wiping her eyes quickly. "I have another job at 7. "Lena, wait. I left something for you." "In the office," she interrupted. "Jamie will bring it today. It is a proper goodbye." "I do not want a goodbye. I want you." The words came out before Ethan could filter them. Lena stopped, turned slowly. "What?" "I want you," Ethan repeated, and this time it sounded less desperate and more true. "Not as an employee, not as a project. As you, Lena. The woman who made me laugh for the first time in years, who made everyone in the office feel seen, who is smarter than half of my board and braver than all of them together." "Ethan, I know I ruined everything. I know I do not deserve a second chance," he continued. "But if you let me, I will spend the next 6 months proving that I can be the man I should have been from the beginning." Lena studied him for a long time. 6 months? "Stanford starts in January," Ethan said. "You will go. You should go. But until then, let me try." "Try what?" "To win you," he said simply. "The right way. No power dynamics, no office hierarchy, just you and me." Lena wanted to say no. She wanted to protect her heart. She wanted to be practical. But something in the way he looked at her. "Read what I left for you," she finally said. "Then call me, if you still want to." And she left before he could respond. Ethan arrived at the office at 8:45. Jamie was waiting in the lobby with a cup. "She made me promise to deliver this personally," Jamie said. "Into your hands. No one else can touch it." Ethan took the cup as if it were the Holy Grail. Empathy is an investment that always pays off. He looked at Jamie. "Is that all?" "There is something inside," Jamie pointed. Ethan looked inside the cup, a folded piece of paper. He opened it with trembling hands. "My number, 4Y5, 5B50147. Use wisely, or do not use. Your choice. L." Ethan started laughing. Real laughter. Loud, in the middle of the lobby. "She still managed to teach you a lesson," Priscilla said, appearing out of nowhere. "She is perfect," Ethan whispered. "So what are you going to do?" Ethan looked at the number, at the cup, at the office around him, and for the first time in years, he knew exactly what to do. Ethan typed the message for the 17th time in 2 hours, erased it for the 17th time. He was sitting in his office, phone in hand, sweating like a teenager trying to invite someone to the school dance. "Hi, Lena. This is Ethan." Too formal." "Thank you for the number. Can we talk?" "Too corporate." "I miss you." "Too desperate." "For goodness sake," he muttered, finally typing. "Coffee?" "My turn to ask the questions." He sent it before he could change his mind. 3 minutes passed, 5, 10, nothing. Ethan looked at the phone as if it had betrayed his trust. "Technical problems, Mr. Pierce?" Kevin's voice, the head of IT, came from the door. He was holding a laptop and had that expression of, "I know something you do not." "Kevin?" Ethan put the phone down too quickly, too guilty. "Do you need something?" "Actually, you are the one who needs something." Kevin walked in, closing the door behind him. "Permission to speak freely?" "Since when do you ask for permission?" "Since I realized you are about to do something foolish involving the barista everyone loves and the ex-fiancé everyone hates." Ethan blinked. "Everyone hates Clara?" "Sir, with all due respect, the woman has the charisma of a tax form." Kevin set the laptop on the desk. "And I have proof she is worse than that." "What kind of proof?" Kevin turned the laptop, on the screen a series of emails. "I monitored suspicious activity on the server after Lena left. Clara accessed the HR system 17 times in 2 days. She modified records, deleted consent forms, planted false reports of inappropriate behavior in Lena's file." Ethan felt anger rising. "She falsified official records?" "Technically, she edited existing records," Kevin made air quotes. "But yes, it is fraud, with a capital F, and I have logs of everything. Timestamps, IPs, even the mouse she used." "Why are you showing me this?" "Because in 3 days is the Pierce Tech Annual Conference," Kevin said. 500 people, investors, press, live broadcast. and Clara is scheduled to give the keynote presentation about corporate culture and innovation. You must be joking. I never joke about irony, Kevin smiled. But here's the good part. I have access to the presentation system, and I can do many interesting things with the presentation system. Ethan studied him. You're suggesting sabotage? I am suggesting justice with cinematic production, Kevin corrected. But I need executive approval. So, Mr. Pierce, do you want to fire Clara quietly, or do you want to make her a public example of why no one messes with baristas who are getting a master's degree at Berkeley? For the first time in days, Ethan smiled. Truly smiled. I want option 2. Excellent. Kevin clapped his hands. I will need 3 days, full server access, and a pretext to keep Clara distracted. She's busy preparing her presentation. Perfect. Let her prepare. Kevin picked up the laptop. It will be even more satisfying when everything falls apart. He was already at the door when Ethan spoke. Kevin? Yes? Why are you doing this? For Lena? Kevin turned, serious for the first time. Lena wrote on my cup, codes break, people should not. On the day I found out my mother was unwell. He paused. She did not know, but somehow that phrase held me together. So yes. For Lena, and because Clara is terrible and someone needs to stop her. Kevin left, and Ethan was alone with racing thoughts. His phone vibrated. A message from Lena. Ethan grabbed it so fast he almost dropped it. Busy this week? Maybe after your company's conference? I heard it will be interesting. Ethan frowned. How did she know about the conference? He typed back, will you be there? The reply took 5 minutes. Maybe, if it is worth it. Then, prove it. And then nothing. She stopped responding. Ethan tried 3 more messages. All read. No reply. She is testing me, he said to the empty office. His phone rang. Marcus. Boss, can we talk about the conference? What about the conference? Clara is planning to use the presentation to reposition the narrative about the recent HR incident. Marcus sounded worried. Translation, she will throw Lena under the bus publicly. Ethan gripped the phone tightly. Not if she has no stage. What do you mean? Do you trust me? I always have, boss. Then make sure the conference happens exactly as planned. Do not change anything. Let Clara think she is in control. And she is not? She is about to find out she never was. Ethan hung up. Friday turned into Saturday. Saturday turned into Sunday. Ethan sent 12 more messages to Lena. She replied to exactly 3. Busy. Studying. Not yet. Each 2-word answer hurt more than the last. Sunday night, Ethan was in the office with Kevin, reviewing the plan for the 1000th time. Do we have everything? Ethan asked. Clara's falsified emails? Check, Kevin listed. Unauthorized access records? Check. Audio recordings of the meeting where she defamed Lena? Check. And my masterpiece, a video montage showing every time Clara lied in the last 6 months? Double check. Is this legal? It is technically complicated, Kevin admitted, but morally satisfying. Ethan took a deep breath. What if Lena does not show up? Then we do this for her anyway, Kevin said. But something tells me she will show up. How do you know? Kevin smiled. Because Lena Morales does not miss a good plot twist. And tomorrow, it will be the best plot twist this company has ever seen. Ethan looked out the window at the city still sleeping. In 12 hours, the annual conference would begin. In 12 hours, Clara would be exposed. In 12 hours, he would have the chance to prove to Lena that he had changed. If she showed up, if she forgave him, if it was not too late. The Hilton Grand Ballroom was filled with 500 people, 20 cameras, and 1 liar about to be exposed. Clara Reynolds stepped on stage at 10 a.m. sharp, wearing a power red dress, high heels, and a smile that could sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo. Ethan sat in the front row, sweating, checking his phone for the 100th time. No sign of Lena. Kevin was in the sound booth in the back, headset on, fingers over the keyboard like a pianist about to play a revenge symphony. Good morning, everyone. Clara began, her voice echoing perfectly through the speakers. What a joy to be here celebrating another amazing year at Pierce Tech. Polite applause. Ethan did not clap. Today I will present our new corporate culture initiative. Clara clicked and a slide appeared. Empathy 2.0, humanizing the workplace. Ethan felt bile rise. She was stealing Lena's work, word for word. In recent months we have implemented an innovative pilot program. Clara continued, gesturing dramatically, where we used personalized communication to increase engagement. The results were extraordinary. Another slide, charts, numbers, all the data Lena had collected. Marcus, seated beside Ethan, whispered, She is presenting it as if it was her idea? Not for long, Ethan whispered back. Clara clicked for the next slide. Methodology, strategic emotional validation. Using basic behavioral psychology principles, she began. And then the slide changed. Clara had not clicked. The slide changed by itself. A giant photo of Lena behind the coffee counter appeared, writing on a cup. Caption, The real creator, Lena Morales, Masters in Organizational Psychology, UC Berkeley. Clara froze. The audience murmured, What? Clara turned toward the sound booth. Who is controlling this? Kevin waved, smiling. Another slide. An email from Clara to HR. Remove all credits from Lena Morales in the project records. Date, 3 days ago. The murmuring grew louder. Clara turned pale. This is a technical error, she tried to laugh. Kevin, can you fix this? It is not an error. Ethan's voice echoed as he walked onto the stage. It is the truth. 500 people turned to look. The cameras shifted, focusing. Clara stepped back. Ethan, what are you doing? What I should have done weeks ago. He took the remote from her hand. Excuse me. He clicked. A series of emails began appearing, one by one, each more incriminating than the last. Clara to HR, make sure Lena Morales' file includes inappropriate behavior. Clara to marketing, redirect all credits from the empathy project to my department. Clara to Ethan, deleted, she's a threat. We need to remove her before she causes more harm. The room fell into complete silence. Clara tried to grab the remote back. This is out of context. You cannot. I can, Ethan said, his voice firm, and I will. Next slide, audio. Clara's voice came through the speakers, crystal clear. She is using cheap psychology to influence the CEO. It is manipulation disguised as kindness, corporate risk. The room erupted into whispers. Reporters started typing furiously. Investors exchanged worried looks. Clara looked at Ethan with pure hatred. You will pay for this. No, Ethan said calmly. You are already paying. And then, from the back of the room, a female voice cut through the chaos. May I speak, Mr. Efficiency? Ethan turned so fast he almost fell off the stage. Lena. She stood in the center aisle, holding a microphone Kevin had somehow provided, wearing jeans, a simple Berkeley top, and that raised eyebrow smile he had missed so much. The whole room turned to look at her. Who are you? An investor asked. Lena Morales. She began walking toward the stage, and it looked like a movie scene. Former barista at Pierce Tech, current master's student in organizational psychology, and apparently, the creator of the program Vice President Reynolds is trying to steal. Clara opened her mouth, closed it, opened again. Nothing came out. Lena stepped onto the stage with the confidence of someone who had both truth and evidence on her side. May I? She held out her hand for the remote. Ethan handed it to her without hesitation. Lena clicked. A new presentation began, hers. Empathy as Investment, the Real Study. In the last 4 months, I conducted research approved by UC Berkeley's Ethics Committee on the application of emotional validation in corporate environments, Lena said, her voice clear and professional. All participants signed informed consent. All data was collected ethically, and all results were documented. Next slide, the consent forms, with signatures. The project was more successful than expected. Productivity went up 8%. Satisfaction, 23%. Turnover dropped by half, Lena continued. Not because I manipulated anyone, but because I treated people as people. Applause began. Quiet at first, then stronger. So when Vice President Reynolds accused me of manipulation, of cheap psychology, of being a corporate risk, Lena turned to Clara, who was visibly shaking. I could have taken legal action, for defamation, for workplace harassment, for career sabotage. Clara swallowed hard. But do you know what I did? Lena smiled. I left because I learned that it is not worth fighting with people who confuse empathy with weakness. She turned to the audience. And I accepted a full PhD scholarship at Stanford. I start in January. So thank you, Mrs. Reynolds, Lena said with a sarcastic bow, for showing me that I deserve better than this. The room erupted in applause, a standing ovation. 500 people applauding Lena. Clara tried to exit the stage. Ethan blocked her. You are fired, he said, loud enough for the microphones to catch it. For cause, effective immediately. Security will escort you. 2 guards were already walking up. Clara looked at Ethan, then at Lena, then at the cameras recording everything. You will regret this, she hissed. I only regret one thing, Ethan said, looking at Lena, not believing in her from the beginning. Clara was escorted out under camera flashes and shocked murmurs. Lena and Ethan were left alone on the stage, 500 people watching, 20 cameras recording. You came, Ethan whispered. You asked, Lena replied, and you finally did something that was worth it. Lena, not here, she interrupted, glancing at the crowd. Not in front of everyone. Where then? Lena smiled. Cafeteria, 15 minutes. And this time, you make the coffee. She left the stage under thunderous applause, and Ethan realized with terrifying joy that the hard part was only beginning. Ethan Pierce was trying to make coffee for the second time in his life and failing even more spectacularly than the first. The espresso machine in the Pierce Tech Cafe had too many buttons, too many levers, and was making a sound that resembled a whale in pain. You are torturing the poor thing, Lena said, appearing behind him exactly 15 minutes later as promised. I am trying to make a cappuccino, Ethan replied, desperate. How do you make this look so easy? Practice. Lena leaned against the counter, arms crossed, amused. And natural talent, and 2 years of experience, and you are using the wrong steam. There's a right and wrong steam? Ethan, you are trying to foam milk with the cleaning lever. He looked at the machine, then at the lever, then back at Lena. Oh, yes. Oh, she laughed, that laugh he had not heard in weeks, and that he realized he had missed deeply. Move, let me do it. No. Ethan blocked the machine with his body. You said I had to do it. I said that as a metaphor for you needing to make an effort, not to literally destroy $12,000 worth of equipment. 12,000? Ethan looked at the machine with new respect. For making coffee? Welcome to my world. Lena gently moved him aside and took over. Her fingers moved across the buttons like a pianist. Now sit and let me work. Ethan sat on a stool, feeling strangely like a child being disciplined. You were incredible up there, he said after a moment. I know. Lena did not look at him, focused on the coffee. I practiced in the mirror for 3 days. You knew I was going to do that? Kevin called me, she admitted. Saturday night, told me the whole plan, invited me to take part. And you almost did not come. I almost did not come, Lena corrected, pouring perfectly steamed milk into the cup. But then I thought, when else will I have the chance to publicly humiliate the woman who tried to destroy my career? Revenge suits you. Justice. Lena slid the perfect cappuccino across the counter. There is a difference. Ethan picked up the cup. Perfect latte art in the shape of a heart. Is this on purpose? Everything I do is on purpose. Lena began making her own coffee. You should know that by now. Comfortable silence as she worked. Lena, Ethan began. If you are going to apologize again, you do not need to, she interrupted. You already did that, publicly, in front of 500 people and 20 cameras. It was enough. But it was not sincere enough. Lena finally stopped and looked at him. Then say it, for real this time. Ethan took a deep breath. I spent my whole life building empires, closing deals, being efficient. And somewhere in the process, I forgot how to be human. He paused. Until you wrote that first quote on my coffee cup, and suddenly, for the first time in years, I felt something. Anger? Lena offered with a half smile. Curiosity, he corrected, and then interest, and then you. I felt you, your attention, your care, the way you saw people. Ethan looked directly into her eyes. And I treated you like a project, like a problem to solve, like another item on my efficiency list. And I'm sorry, not only for not defending you, but for not seeing you until it was too late. Lena held his gaze for a long moment. Okay, she finally said. Okay? Okay, I accept. Lena finished her coffee. But I am not coming back as a barista. I know. Stanford, January. You are going. No, Lena said. I mean, yes, I am going. But before that, if you're being sincere about everything you said, I have a counteroffer. Ethan leaned forward. I am listening. You need a chief culture officer, Lena said. Someone who understands organizational psychology, corporate empathy, and how to make people feel seen. Someone who will not accept your decisions just because you are CEO. You are applying? I am demanding the position, Lena corrected. 3 months until Stanford starts, fair salary, full autonomy, and no interference from you. None? Well, she smiled, some interference is fine, but only if it is interesting. Ethan laughed. And how do I know if it will be interesting? You do not know. Lena extended her hand. It is part of the risk. So, Mr. Pierce, do we have a deal? Ethan shook her hand, held it 1 second longer than professionally necessary. How much do you want for the salary? You can pay me in cappuccino, Lena said, eyes shining. The comedic timing was so perfect that Ethan burst into laughter. Real, loud, unrestrained. You are not serious. Of course not. Lena pulled her hand back. I want $80,000 for 3 months, health insurance, and a glowing recommendation for Stanford. $100,000, Ethan countered, and a letter of recommendation that will make the dean cry. Deal, Lena smiled, but there is one final condition. What is it? You need to come down here every day, in person, get your own coffee, and have real conversations with real people. She tilted her head. No assistants, no intermediaries, just you being human. That will destroy my schedule. Exactly. Lena picked up her coffee. Welcome to empathy, Mr. Efficiency. It is inconvenient, time-consuming, and absolutely essential. Ethan looked at her. At the woman who had walked into his life with sarcastic quotes on coffee cups and turned everything upside down. You know I am somewhat in love with you, right? He said before he could stop himself. Lena almost spit out her coffee. Somewhat? Okay, a lot, Ethan admitted, blushing. Very, completely. Choose the adverb. How about inappropriately, considering I am your employee now? Lena suggested, but she was smiling. How about let us have our first real date where there is no power dynamic, no corporate hierarchy, and no unstable ex-fiancés? Ethan replied. Lena studied him for a long moment. Friday, 7 p.m., you choose the place, she said. And Ethan? Yes? If you show up in a suit, I am leaving. How am I supposed to dress then? Like a human, Lena said, already walking toward the exit. Try. It will be a new experience for you. She left, leaving Ethan alone with a cold cappuccino and a foolish smile on his face. Kevin appeared out of nowhere. She said yes? She did, Ethan confirmed. And you confessed your feelings like an awkward teenager? I did. And she did not run away? No. She set a date. Kevin patted him on the back. Boss, for the first time since I met you, you made the right decision. And Ethan, looking at the coffee with the heart-shaped latte art, finally agreed. Friday at 7 p.m., Ethan Pierce was standing in front of his bathroom mirror, having an existential crisis about jeans. Is this right? He asked his reflection. Is it not too casual? The reflection did not answer, but Priscilla, who was sitting on his living room sofa reviewing emails, did. Mr. Pierce, they are jeans. They do not require a PhD to wear. But what if she thinks I did not make an effort? She literally told you not to wear a suit, Priscilla rolled her eyes. You are having a nervous breakdown because of casual clothes. Is this personal growth or regression? I do not know. Ethan walked out of the bathroom wearing his 5th jeans and shirt combination. Is this one good? It was good 3 outfits ago. You are not helping. I am not paid to be your fashion consultant. Priscilla stood up. But since I am here, you look great. Breathe. She already likes you. Now just do not ruin it by being excessively you. What does that mean? It means stop trying to control everything. Priscilla grabbed her bag. Be spontaneous, or in your case, try to be spontaneous. Good luck. You will need it. She left, leaving Ethan alone with his anxiety and a bottle of expensive cologne he was not sure he should use. He used it. 2 sprays. Then 3. Then he showered again because he smelled like a perfume store. He arrived at the restaurant at 7:17, late for the first time in his life because he had to change clothes 6 times. Lena was already there, sitting at the corner table, hair down in natural waves, simple navy dress, smiling like she knew exactly the state of panic he was in. You are late, she said when he sat down, slightly out of breath. I had a problem with clothes. Let me guess? Lena tilted her head. You tried 5 different combinations? 6. And still showed up wearing the first one you tried. Ethan looked at his light blue shirt and jeans. How do you know? Because you are predictable when you are nervous. Lena picked up the menu. It is sweet, in a pathetic and endearing way. Endearing? Attractive in a non-traditional way, she translated. Are you going to order wine, or will you spend the next 10 minutes analyzing the list? You know me too well. Not yet, Lena said, and there was weight in those words. But I am starting to. Dinner was surprisingly easy. They talked about everything, about the conference. About Clara being escorted out of the building by security while shouting legal threats. About Kevin becoming the office's instant hero. About Stanford and Lena's plans. Are you afraid? Ethan asked when dessert arrived. Of Stanford? No, Lena said. Of leaving San Francisco? A little. Of leaving. She paused, looking at him. Unfinished things? Yes. Unfinished things? You know what I mean. Ethan knew. 3 months is not a long time, he said softly. No, Lena agreed. But it is enough time to find out if this is real or just a consequence of messages on coffee cups. It is real, Ethan said without hesitation. At least for me. How do you know? Because I cannot stop thinking about you. Because when you left, the office felt empty, and I realized it was not the office, it was me. I was empty. He took her hand across the table. And because every time you smile in that sarcastic way, I want to kiss you and argue with you at the same time. Lena laughed. Is that romance or confusion? Both. Definitely both. They left the restaurant at 10:30, walking slowly along the lit sidewalk. So, Lena said, Monday I officially start as Chief Culture Officer. Officially. Are you prepared to have someone questioning your decisions? No, Ethan admitted, but I am prepared to learn. Good. Lena stopped in front of her car, an old blue Beetle that looked like it had survived 3 wars. Because I will be relentless. I expect nothing less. They stood there, close, the space between them full of possibility. I should, Ethan began. Yes, Lena said. You should. He leaned in, she did too, and then Ethan's phone rang. Loud, sharp, urgent. You are joking, Lena said, stepping back. I will ignore it, Ethan promised. The phone rang again. Answer it, Lena sighed. It may be important. It was Kevin. Boss, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a situation. Kevin sounded urgent. Clara filed a lawsuit. Defamation, wrongful termination, and, wait, emotional damages due to public humiliation. She's asking for $20 million. Ethan covered the phone. I need to. Go. Lena said, but she was smiling. Handle it. We continue on Monday. Monday at the cafe. She got into the Beetle. 7:55. Do not be late, Mr. Efficiency. And she drove away, leaving Ethan on the sidewalk with an almost kiss and a $20 million lawsuit. Monday, 7:55 in the morning. Ethan walked into the lobby cafe for the first time in weeks, feeling something strange. Nervousness. And then he saw it. Lena was behind the counter. But not with the old green apron, with a new one. Black, elegant, with gold embroidery, Chief Culture Officer. And a badge, not green. Gold. She was making coffee, talking with employees, smiling. At home, she belonged there. When she saw Ethan, she raised an eyebrow. May I help you? The usual, he said, trying not to smile like a fool and failing miserably. Lena prepared the coffee in silence, the machine humming, the aroma filling the space. She slid the cup across the counter. Ethan picked it up and read, Caution, hot and confusing content. He looked up. She was smiling, that smile that said everything and nothing at the same time. Confusing? He asked. Extremely, Lena confirmed, but also inevitable. Inevitable? You, me, this. She gestured between them. 3 months is not a long time, but it is enough. Enough for what? Lena leaned over the counter, close enough for him to smell her perfume, far enough to keep professional distance. To see if you can keep up with me, Mr. Efficiency. Is that a challenge? It is a promise. Steam rose from the coffee between them. Warm, fragrant, perfect. And for the first time since it all began, Ethan Pierce had no plan, no strategy, no control. He only had her, and 3 months to prove this was more than phrases on cups, and he would enjoy every second. 6 months later, the steam still rose from the coffee, but now the cup had a diamond ring beside it. Lena looked at Ethan, who was kneeling in the middle of the Pierce Tech Cafe at 7:55 in the morning, in front of 40 employees holding phones recording everything. On the cup, written in perfect red, Caution, hot, confusing, and committed forever. Marry me? She laughed, cried, and said yes. Because some stories do not end when people find each other. They only begin. And you? What did you think of Ethan's transformation from a cold CEO to a man in love? Share your opinion in the comments. Tell us, did you believe in their love from the first coffee? Or were you hoping until the end? And Clara, did she deserve everything she received, or do you think it was too much? On a scale of 0 to 10, what score would you give this story? Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive more emotional stories like this. Stories of impossible love, unexpected twists, and endings that will make you believe everyone deserves a second chance. See you next time. And remember, sometimes all it takes to change a life is a sincere phrase at the right moment. What phrase do you need to hear today?